Hi, everyone. Welcome to ElCo Chats. My name is Julieta, and ElCo Chats is a regular podcast where we get to chat with El Camino College graduates, current students, staff, faculty, and managers who work at El Camino College. For today's episode, I get to chat with Cam and Yemi, an El Camino College counselor and an El Camino College former student. Actually, both of you are El Camino College graduates, and we get to chat about Umoja-Project Success here at El Camino College. Welcome, Cam and Yemi.
Hi.
Hello. So let's start with some introductions. If you can, please introduce yourselves. Tell us about your role with Umoja-Project Success at El Camino College.
So my name is Cameron, and I, as you mentioned, was a former student in this program. I always like to make the joke many eons ago, even though it really wasn't that long ago. But now I am a counselor for the program, and I actually taught for the first time last semester. I taught Human Development 110. So that is my role within the program.
Thank you.
And my name is Yemi, and I am also a former student. I recently graduated this past semester, so I'm currently at a 4-year at San Jose State University, all thanks to Umoja.
And tell me about your major right now.
Right now, I'm an information science major, and it was a long journey to get to my current degree plan, but I was a nursing student for a long time, and then during the pandemic, I just like that's not for me. So I discovered a boot camp, and I just started to learn more about like technology, data analytics, like coding languages and stuff like that. And so I was like, I think I really want to pursue this as a career. So I came back to ElCo, and I hit up Brian Mims, and he set up an educational plan for me that like I was out of here in like 6 months, like one semester. And I graduated.
That's awesome. And we're going to talk a little bit more about your journey later on. But Cam, if you can please tell us, what is Umoja-Project Success and its mission here at El Camino College?
It's a statewide program that basically helps students transfer out quicker. So essentially, it's a retention program. We offer services that help students transfer out quicker. That is what Umoja-Project Success is about specifically. And so some of the services that we provide within the program include priority registration. We offer personal counseling. We offer tours to four-year colleges and universities. One of the big things that we do within the program is we take students on the HBCU tour, which is a really, really big deal. It's a week-long tour. Depending on the location of the tour, sometimes we will be taking students to HBCUs along the East Coast. Within the South, I went a couple years ago, and it was awesome. I was like, I should have gone to an HBCU after I went on that tour. But the really cool thing about the tour also is that it's free of charge for the student. So they get to experience what it would be like potentially going to an HBCU and without having to worry about the cost of it. And so they really get to deep dive into that. And then we also provide classes for students that are transferable. So whether students are interested in going to HBCUs, privates, UCs, or CSUs, those classes are transferable. So it's not like students are taking just classes for fun or something like that. They do serve a purpose. And it's a lot of, our program is very, I would say, family oriented. I feel like that's a really big aspect of the program. And really the mission is to just guide students along their academic journeys here. But it's a lot more than that. That's obviously a big aspect of it, but it's making sure that they're just on the right path, whatever path or journey that is, and we're just guiding them, yes, academically, but also, if they need support in other areas too. A lot of these students, they go through a lot, so that's part of the mission, and just, trying to close the equity gap, and, just trying to like I said, it closed the equity gap for African and African American students.
Thank you. And it really does sound like a community, right, of students, and it sounds like community of counselors and professors and other support staff here at El Camino College who are providing both services and support for the success of students, right? So thank you for that. And HBCU, just in case people don't know what HBCU means, it's historically Black colleges and universities. Yeah. Thank you. So Yemi, can you share your experience as a former student of Umoja-Project Success? What initially drew you to the program? And you had a little bit of a break with your education. So tell us a little bit about that.
So initially, before I joined Umoja, I was just a regular old college student. But definitely they helped kind of help me find a place on campus per se. And just the community aspect of it all, I felt connected and I learned a lot, especially with those required classes. We had a history class with a professor. His name is Dr. Walker. And within that class, we had a lot of interactive activities that Umoja infiltrated. And I just learned so much and became in community with other Umoja students through that. So it definitely helped retain me and into stay in college. And so yeah. Oh, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, no, I think you answered it well, okay. But I'm going to add something else because now you're at San Jose State and you're completing your bachelor's. So what was it about Umoja-Project Success that contributed to that transfer and your success now?
Okay, so during the pandemic, I had a really difficult time trying to find my career path, basically find something that I thought I would do for the rest of my life. So I was basically discovering, like I mentioned earlier, I did a boot camp and because I took a break from school. And then once I figured that out, I just hit up Brian Mims again and he helped me set up that educational plan to pretty much help me succeed in this career plan. So yeah.
Awesome. Now, for Cam, what inspired the establishment of the Umoja-Project Success Group and what specific needs or challenges does it aim to address among students?
So, what basically happened was it was a group of staff and faculty that were concerned about the success and graduation rates of African American and African students. They just noticed that the numbers of, success, completion, and graduation were just lower than a lot of the other students on campus. And so they basically wanted to do something about this, and out came Umoja-Project Success. And then in terms of the specific needs that that the program aims to address is kind of what I just mentioned, which is, success, completion or success in classes, completion of those classes, and graduation rates, and then also helping students to get their associate's degree transferred to four-year colleges or universities, or just help them, whether that even be a certificate program, just help them while they are going through their academic or educational journey. That's mainly the main what we aim to do in the program.
So supporting the academics, but a little while ago, we also had a conversation off air and we talked about the personal aspect, right? So I'm going to skip one of my questions and ask about the role that counselors play within Umoja-Project Success and how do they support students throughout their college journey? And for this one, I think, it's something on the personal side that you might want to be able to touch on.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously, yes, counselors, we do help with the ed plan and we do help with the academic side of things, but it's bigger than that. Even in my personal experience working with the program, I have met with students and when they're just going through hard times and they may not, I don't want to put this particular student's business out there or, get into specifics, but I had a student in my class and throughout the semester, I could tell something was going on. And, I would ask them, how are you doing? You know, I could kind of see like when they would come to class, like something was wrong, but I was just kind of being patient with them, giving them some time to be comfortable talking to me about whatever was going on. And then one day it finally happened, and I probably talked with the student for an hour, and it didn't have anything to do with an ed plan or academics. It was just they needed to talk to somebody, and I was really glad that they felt comfortable enough to talk to me about what they were going through. Obviously, I don't have the answers to everything, but I'm just glad that we can provide a space for them, especially for Black students, because I don't think that, unfortunately, I don't know if there's, too many spaces where they feel that, even within their personal lives. And for this particular student, I don't think they felt that way, that they could go to a family member to talk about kind of what they were going through within themselves. And so it's beyond the academics, because I'm not the only counselor in the program that has had that experience with students. It's been a number of times that counselors within the program have really like been there and shown their support for students in that specific way. And then, it's also resources. If students need certain things, we definitely try to point them in the right direction of where they can access those resources, whether that be basic needs or some sort of mentorship, anything like that, anything that we can really do to just help them within their journey. So it's bigger than that. I mean, even for me, as I mentioned, I was a student in the program too. And like, I hope this is answering the question, and I hope I'm not going on a tangent, but I owe so much to this program. Like, every time I'm like getting emotional about it, but I feel like I just like would not be talking to you even like today if it weren't for like Brian and Nikki, like believing in me and pushing me. Sorry, I'm getting emotional, but like beyond my control, because and like even other people on the campus too, but like specifically like Brian and Nikki, I feel like I owe them so much. So it's even, when I was a student in the program, when I transferred, and even when I came back, they had my back, and they helped me through they saw it all. They saw me as a student, and even now, like as a counselor and an instructor. And I just, like I said, it's beyond just the academic part. They really like have been there, and I know that I'm not the only one that they would do this for. So, got emotional.
No, you definitely answered the question. Yeah. And I think, and that's exactly it, the testament to the type of support, right, that Umoja-Project Success at El Camino College provides for students, and now as a colleague. So thank you for being back here and giving back and providing that support to students. So with that, Yemi, if you can tell me, what role did counselors play within Umoja-Project Success for you? And how did that support you throughout your community college journey?
Okay, so I really appreciate you sharing that, first of all. And I can definitely relate to like the amount of support that Umoja offers beyond the academics. So even like when I was going through and during the pandemic, when I didn't really know what I wanted to do, I was able to kind of really express myself to the counselors and let them know like just how kind of lost I kind of was in regards to like literally what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. But I honestly just felt a lot of encouragement and like opportunities, like you can't just fail. Like there's no like, oh, one and done type of thing. You can always come back and like, restart over if you have to. So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say. Like I can never really fail. That's what I can say.
Yeah, because for you especially, I think when you started and we were talking how you were a nursing major and then the pandemic happened, and that's when you thought, oh, this is not for me. And that's okay. That happens sometimes. But you were able to find something that was for you.
Exactly.
And I think it was pretty amazing that, with the support of the counselors, you got on an educational plan that, was a career that, was going to be for you and for your future. And now you're succeeding, it sounds like, as well in that major as well. And
I definitely feel like more confident than I was like 2-3 years ago on where I'm headed. So I honestly just have Umoja to thank for that.
Yeah. No, that's great. And so for students who are interested in joining or learning more about the Umoja-Project Success group here at El Camino College, how can they do that? How can they become students? How can they get involved?
So it can go like a number of ways. So we have on our website, we have the application on there, so they can fill that application out, or they can come see us. We are in the Student Services Building, 2nd floor, counseling office. You ask for Brian, you ask for me, Cam, any one of the counselors, and we will pretty much get you started right then and there. Well, obviously you have to fill out the application, but just like give a little bit of a summary, usually about how the program works, what you should expect while you're in the program. And then we also provide new student orientations, which we are actually doing right now to start recruiting for the next semester. It's about, I want to say, maybe about an hour-long orientation, maybe give or take. It just kind of depends on how many students and if they have questions. So they go through that. We set them up with an ed plan appointment, and we pretty much go from there. And that's usually, so they can either, email, reach out that way, or like I said, they can come see us in person, and we'll help them out.
And this is not, just to clarify, not a program for only new students. You can be a current El Camino College student and find Umoja-Project Success and become a student, right? Yeah,
you don't have to be just coming out of high school. You can be already, going here for like a year. So yeah, we are. And also the other thing I want to mention too is, even though Umoja-Project Success is, our classes are taught through an African American perspective, and there's definitely that, I guess, we specifically, we don't specifically, I guess what I'm trying to say is we don't specifically just work with African American students. Our classes are taught from that perspective, but we are a program that is open to anyone that is willing to just learn from that perspective. So it's not just for African or African American students. That's the other thing I also wanted to definitely make sure to mention.
Thank you. No, thank you for mentioning that. And so my last question that I like to ask everybody who chats with me is for students thinking about applying to El Camino College, right? And I'm thinking about applying, whether they're recently graduated high school, or maybe they attempted college and are now returning, or never attempted. It's been 10 years since high school and are now thinking about applying to El Camino College. So what advice do you have for them, and especially getting connected with a program like Umoja-Project Success? What kind of advice do you have for students, future students?
I would say community colleges have like some sort of rep, since it's mostly commuter schools. So students have a hard time finding like their people and stuff. Versus like four-year universities where you're like kind of like living on campus or whatnot. So what Umoja has done for me was like kind of offer that kind of community where I didn't feel like I'm just like a straggler, as a student, where it could definitely like feel that way, especially if you spend a lot of time here. So definitely Umoja is the right place to go, I would say. Yeah.
Thank you.
I would say that definitely join a support program. Obviously, we want you to join it. But no, I always like to say join a support program. Definitely, to what Yemi was saying, it helps a lot, and it helps build community. I definitely understand when I transferred, I just kind of felt like, where's everybody at? And so I was missing that a lot, when that sense of community, when I had transferred to the school I went to. and it made me appreciate being in a support program. And plus there's like so many benefits too, and it helps you stay on track, it helps you meet new people. And there was something that you had said at the beginning of your statement, and I wanted to piggyback off of that, and I'm trying to, do you mind re-asking the question so I can get my...
the benefits of, what advice do you have? And I think, Yemi, you touched on community.
Yeah.
And that's a big one, right?
Yeah. How like it's hard to like maintain a community at a community college, because like you're not at a 4-year where you're like completely always surrounded by students like day and night versus here. So definitely finding Umoja was helped me like kind of like want to stay, you know? So that was definitely helpful.
Yeah. I can't remember. There was something that some piece of advice. Okay, now I remember. So just a little bit of background too. Like for me, when I first got here, I remember feeling very, I guess, resentful of the fact that I didn't get into my first choices. And I think that I don't want to speak for all community college students, but I do think there is like a stigma about community college students where they feel like they weren't good enough or smart enough or whatever the case may be, that, you know, they're like, why didn't I get into a 4-year like my friends? That's how I felt when I first got here. And then I got here and I did my 2 years, and I realized that coming to a community college is really, it's so beneficial, especially for someone like me. I was undecided the first 2 years I was here until I transferred. I ended up being a psychology major, but I was able to figure out what I wanted to do and figure out myself and the path that I wanted to go on and all of that. And I didn't spend so much money doing it, whereas I feel like had I gone to a 4-year and I was in that position, my student debt would have been much higher. And I was, trying to figure it out, and like I wouldn't have gone through this program and had this kind of support, because I mean, not to be so negative towards transferring or like going to a 4-year, but like Yemi was saying, I didn't get that sense of community at a 4-year like I did when I was here. And so it just made me realize how like grateful I was that I did have this experience. And at the end of the day, like what I've told students that have kind of talked to me about feeling like that is that, yes, that you may start off feeling like that, but you are still able to transfer, you're still able to get the degree. And that's what, at the end of the day, like that's what matters. And because it's a smaller school too, you just get more support, and like the opportunities are, I feel like there's just more opportunities for that. So I guess the word of advice is don't feel discouraged if you're one of those students that feels that way. You are definitely capable. You're definitely smart. It doesn't mean anything like that. It's just, look at it as it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
That's a great choice, right? So apply to El Camino.
Yes.
Find your support program or support group. And if that group is Umoja-Project Success, even better.
Yes.
Right? So thank you so much for coming in and chatting with me today. I really enjoyed learning about Umoja-Project Success and your experiences, both as a counselor and now as a graduate, and both of you as a graduate of El Camino College, and for you especially to have the opportunity to give back. So thank you again, and I wish you all the success.
Thank you so much.